These are assembly instructions for my Dearest Reader treat box caddy. I have 6 boxes in 2 different colors, so 3 in each color. All 6 boxes go together the same way. So I'm just folding down on all the score lines. The tricky score lines are the diagonal score lines that are on 2 panels. First thing I'm doing is folding down on that score line that runs the whole width of my piece, right at that same spot. And then I'm going to start with this score line. I'm putting my nail on the score line and folding on it. And then I'm just burnishing from that corner right to the next score line. I do that on the other side as well. Putting a little bit of pressure on the score line with my nail, folding it on that score line, and then burnishing it from the back right along until both score lines, like so. And there's a score line at the top, and I'm just bending down on it. So I'm going to do that on this side as well. This side's a little bit easier. So I'm just bringing this panel towards this one right on that score line. I'm going from behind and burnishing the fold. And this one's very easy because there's no panel beside. And then again, I'm folding on that top score line. So there's a score line that runs from this score line all the way up the center. And I'm just pinching down on it. So the next thing I'm going to do is, while my piece is still flat, I'm going to decorate it. So I have some gold cardstock, and then I have some shimmer cardstock that I've embellished with black vinyl. I'm just going to glue my cardstock onto the center of my gold cardstock, and then I'm putting glue on the underside of my gold cardstock. Then I'm gluing my image. I'm not going to center it exactly. I'm going to glue it a little bit towards the top. I'm centering it between the vertical score lines, and I'm using a ruler to help me position this as straight as possible. I want them more or less at the same level. And then I'm trying to center it between the lines. These images go on the first panel and on the third panel, so the one that has that extra little fold at the top. I'm going to flip my piece over, so I'm looking at the interior of my box, and I'm putting glue on both tabs, so the small tab at the top and the long tab at the bottom. And I'm bringing the other end over. I want the cut edge to be right against the score line of my tab. And I want the score lines on the top and the bottom to be even. So now I'm going to turn my box over so that I'm looking at the underside of it. I folded in the 2 smaller panels and I'm covering them with glue. I'm folding one of those square panels over, and I want the cut line of the panel to be right along the score line of my tabs. And then I'm putting glue all over it and folding down on that last panel. And again, I want all those score lines to be nice and flush with the edges. So next I have a piece that's cut out of that gold cardstock. I've added some more of that black vinyl embellishment to tie it all together. I'm putting glue on the underside of it, and I'm gluing that piece just from the score line to the end of that longer piece. The score lines should match up so that it folds over like so. I'm going to assemble all 6 boxes the exact same way, the only difference being 3 are out of solid material and 3 are out of patterned material. So next I'm assembling the caddy. So when I was cutting the base of my caddy, I put the right side down on the mat because I wanted to draw on the wrong side. Now I forgot to put my pen in, so I had to go back and draw these by hand. Those marks are there in the file. And then I'm folding down on the score lines for my base. Then I have the handle part of my caddy. So this is the right side, and I'm folding on that score line. This is a valley fold. I'm doing that with the second piece as well. And while they're flat, I'm just going to decorate them. I've cut out a decorative piece to go around the cutout for the handle. I'm just putting glue on the underside of it. Again, I've cut this out of the gold foil cardstock. And then I'm just gluing it over the opening like so. And then I have a strip of that same gold, and then a strip that's cut out of the same pattern paper as the pattern box. I'm putting glue on the underside of this, and then I'm just gluing my piece just a little bit under that last bit of filigree from the handle piece. So I want it as straight as possible, so you can use the edges as your guide. And I'm decorating both pieces the exact same way. I'm going to flip one of my pieces over, and I'm putting glue all over. Oh, I just had an idea. I'm going to take two of these strips. I have score lines on each end to create tabs. I'm inserting it until the score line. I'm just folding it over onto the base, and I'm doing the same thing with the second one. Just occurred to me this is a good way of hiding these strips. Gluing the second one in. I'm going to do that with the other two as well. I'm just inserting that strip, putting glue on the tab, and then gluing it down onto the surface of my panel on the inside. So not on the decorated side, but on the other side. I'm doing that on the other side as well, putting glue on the tab and then gluing it down. And this suddenly occurred to me I could hide those tabs. It always makes it a little bit more finished looking when you can hide tabs. So I've got the two undecorated sides of my handle pieces. I'm just gluing them together. So I'm just going with my bone folder and just spreading that glue. So now I'm going to flip my piece over and I'm putting glue on those two flaps that are at the bottom of my handle pieces. And I'm taking my base piece and then I'm lowering my handle piece. And those base pieces are just within the score lines. So next I'm putting glue on the tabs that are on both ends. On one side, I'm raising the panel up and gluing it to the side pieces. Now, those side pieces are taller than the front pieces. So I'm doing that on both sides, putting glue on the tabs, and then gluing my pieces together at the sides. So next I have those separator pieces that are between my boxes. So I'm going to use my boxes as guides, just inserting my boxes. And then I'm just putting glue on the tabs, gluing them to the side of my box like so. So they should glue right to the lines that are on those base pieces. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And for my final touch, I'm going to take some ribbon, and I have some very thin red line tape. And I'm just adhering my red line tape to the back of my ribbon. I'm going to take the lining off my red line tape. I'm going to start at one corner. I'm going to work my way around the bottom of my box and keep it an even distance from the bottom and just wrap it around my box. And so there's my Dearest reader, Caddy.